Once again, this country is having a debate on the Confederate flag and the Confederate statues. And once again, I don't give a fuck. I do not give a flying fuck about these statues and these flags. Now, personally, I don't like the Confederate flag. I personally feel like it's a racist symbol. But I also respect the fact that people in this country want to represent the flag. It's in our First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Now, to some, it's not a racist symbol at all. To some, it's just a symbol of one's heritage. Maybe their ancestors came from the South. Maybe they have ancestors that fought in the Civil War and it makes them proud to wave the flag. Maybe it's a symbol of where they're from. I will never quite understand why people love the flag so much. But again, I respect the right of people to represent the flag if they want to, if they so choose. It's not hurting me in any way. I may not like to see it, but it's not causing me any harm. It only means what I think it means to me. And it can't hurt me if I don't let it hurt me. So I don't give a shit. Now, as for these statues, I actually used to live in Charlottesville when I was younger. Personally, I didn't even know that park was there. And I also didn't know about that statue. And now that I know about this statue of Robert E. Lee in this park, I still don't give a fuck about it. It's not hurting me. It didn't hurt me when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure I walked around that area where that park is. Seeing some of the videos, I'm very familiar about where that area is in Charlottesville. It's kind of near UVA a little bit. It never hurt me when I was a kid, and it's certainly not hurting me now. So once again, I really do not give a shit about it. But there's some people who decided to rip these statues down. Once again, I'm not bothered either way. I don't give a fuck. I'm all for free speech, but those statues coming down really didn't affect me one way or the other. So that's all I have to say about those two things. I also kind of wanted to talk about Antifa, Black Lives Matter, the white nationalists, white supremacists, and neo-Nazis. I want to talk about this for a little bit because I think it's important to note that each side of the aisle is typically represented by the fringe of whatever side that they're on. Whenever you see somebody in the KKK or a neo-Nazi or a white nationalist or a white supremacist, we tend to assume that just because they're from the right side of the aisle, that everybody on the right must be one of those things. And I think what's happening is, I think the right sees the left the same exact way. That Antifa and Black Lives Matter and SJWs, that's all the Democratic Party is. It's just those three things. And that's all we see on the other side, is that you're all a bunch of white nationalists, white supremacists, neo-Nazis, KKK, etc. Because we're always represented by what the media likes to focus on. And the media likes to focus on the worst of the worst in everything. And the media is no stranger to this. I remember back in 2012, I saw at a Mitt Romney rally, some guy had a little monkey doll of Obama, and he had the big ears and everything like that. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, is everybody at the Mitt Romney rally like that? No, that was just like one or two people at the rally. But CNN and MSNBC, they honed in on that guy. They honed in on that shit because they wanted to make the whole party seem like that. Oh, all of you guys must be racist. All of you guys must be you know, ridiculous in that way. And I'm pretty sure Fox News does the same thing with Democrats and liberals. Um, they put Antifa and Black Lives Matter on blast and SJWs on blast on every front, especially Tucker Carlson. Holy shit. He brings every liberal nut job on his show to delegitimize them. And it's not all liberals, and it's not all Democrats. It's just some of those ones that are kind of out there he likes to bring on his show to kind of delegitimize the entire party, which is meh. I mean, that's been done to death on YouTube. That's why there's like, I remember the Amazing Atheist used to do like ponage videos and shit like that. Tucker Carlson is doing the same shit that TJ on the Amazing Atheist does. It's just ponage for the sake of ponage. It's not really a debate because you're putting people on the spot who are on TV. If you want to have a debate with someone, be face to face. Don't have a camera, focused at them, and then you're talking into a camera and they're talking to it. That's not a debate. Have an actual debate. Actually face them face to face. I think that's a more accurate form of how to discuss these issues. But the point I was trying to make with talking about Antifa and all that and the neo-Nazis and all that is to just keep in mind, keep everything in perspective. Okay, not everybody on the right is a bunch of neo-Nazis, and not everybody on the left is Black Lives Matter and Antifa. There are some of us with some common sense and keep things in perspective. And look, I may disagree with some people on the right, but sometimes I like some of their ideas. I actually consider myself more fiscally conservative. I think we shouldn't be taxing businesses to death because that kind of hurts job growth. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I'm military, so I'm pro-gun, stereotypically, but still. I think the military should be funded. I'm actually impressed by President Trump about the GI Forever bill. I think that's awesome. Okay. But I still consider myself a Democrat and I still consider myself a liberal. And I'm in no way, shape, or form a SJW or Black Lives Matter or Antifa. Because I don't feel the need to justify my beliefs with violence. I can have a discussion with someone I disagree with and tell him why I disagree with him or her. And then they can tell me why they disagree with me, and we can have a discourse and discussion. And sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, you can change the other person's mind. And that's really what this should be about. It shouldn't be about beating the other people up. Now, these KKK and neo-Nazis and stuff, they were down there marching. They got the permit to march. The thing is, if Antifa and Black Lives Matter really wanted to defeat the movement, all they had to do was not show up. Because it wouldn't have gotten as much coverage because there wasn't anything exciting going on. If they were just down there, just marching with their torches and shit, meh. I mean, they would have maybe gotten a day of coverage. And if Trump didn't speak on it, no one would be talking about it today. No one would have given a shit because there's been plenty of neo-Nazi rallies in actually where I live, or used to live back in Florida, and they basically mentioned it in the news, and then they talked about the weather. I mean, it was literally a non-event. If there's a movement that you don't care to cover or you don't care to listen about, don't give them coverage. The best way to defeat them is to not listen to them. Because if you give them a voice, that makes them more powerful. And if you engage them in combat, that only emboldens them. And I'm talking about both sides. I'm not just talking about the right. I'm talking about any side. The best way to defeat a movement or to defeat something you disagree with is to not give them attention. And it's a common internet rule. Do not feed the trolls. A lot of these guys on the right who are dressing up like Nazis and going around saying white power are nothing but internet Reddit trolls who are just pretending to do this because they love to offend people. A lot of these guys aren't even real racist and white supremacists. They're just a bunch of edgelords that stepped away from the computer to try to do this stuff in real life. There's actually a couple videos of me seeing some of this stuff take place. The Cantwell guy turned out to be a complete pussy, which I thought was hilarious. He was actually crying because he was getting real death threats. And he was on a Vice video talking about, oh, look at all these guns I have. I'm such a badass. I'm trying to train myself to be even more violent. Then he made a video crying that he's getting death threats. Pussies. I even saw a video of this kid saying, oh my God, I'm not really a white supremacist. Oh my God, please don't hurt me. When some Antifa people, I guess, were chasing him around. That's the true face of this movement. There's power in numbers, but once you get them by themselves, people are scared. People are pussies. And that's why I don't really give too much credence to these movements, because they don't really mean shit. Unless you think they mean shit. But anyways, guys, this video is going on longer than I wanted it to go. All I'm going to say is, guys, keep things in perspective. Don't sweat the small stuff. And more importantly, let's just be Americans again. Fuck all this racist bullshit and beating people up because we disagree with them. Let's just be Americans, like we were after 9/11. I'm not calling for another 9/11, but after 9/11, I felt a sense of patriotism that, we were all one against the enemy. And I feel like that's what we need to be now, because North Korea is threatening to bomb us with intercontinental ballistic missiles. And that scares the shit out of me. We need to be uniting against a common enemy and not fight amongst ourselves. But that's another topic for another day, guys. So, God bless America. See you guys next time. Peace out.